Hey guys, welcome back. It is Ringsiders. It's been a while, but we are finally back. Myself and Callum and our very special guest, Zephyr. Here we go, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me. I've seen you guys have one of my coaches on before, Marek Brave. So it's kind of like an honor for me to be here as well. So
Amazing.
thank you for having me. Yeah.
It's our pleasure. We've spoken to 13 trainees actually from Black and Brave,
Wow.
and the reason is we first of all Marek Brave, what a guy! He's
Amazing.
such
Amazing.
an interesting guy, and I'll never get tired of hearing stories about Marek Brave.
Yeah.
I used to watch him on the Independents back in like 2006, and I didn't know. I kind of lost track of independent wrestling, and then I found out that he ran a school with Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, and they
Hmm.
were doing a training school together. And me and Jamie said like the quality of these trainees coming out of that school is insane. Like you've got two of the
Yeah.
best in the world teaching you how to wrestle. I mean, for you, that must be what attracted you to that school, right? The merit that the kids bring.
100. Yeah, 100%. So where I'm from, like in the UAE, we don't have much wrestling here. I
Right.
mean, to be honest, we had zero wrestling. When I was in the university, even before a long time before, I was like, I made up my mind that if I want to train, I want to be trained by the best. You
Yeah.
know, I want to, even if it means traveling overseas, and I want to. I didn't know much about different schools at that time. I was just googling stuff, but starting from where I was, zero wrestling promotions, no wrestling schools at that time. At least none, I mean, none that I knew of.
Yeah.
So it kind of was like I was just starting up, and I was like, even before I start training for professional wrestling, I need to do something, that prepares me for that.
Hmm.
And I started amateur wrestling, shoot wrestling for about 4 years. There was a
Cool.
place where I could do that. Yeah. So I do have a little bit of background of the shoot wrestling, or amateur wrestling, whatever they call it. I did 4 years of that, and while I was doing that, and while I was on the side, I was doing my degree in as a civil engineer in a university. Um, it was something like I was doing that, and I really wanted to be a pro wrestler, but we didn't really have a direction where to go. We weren't in the States. We didn't have a path which way to travel. So, um, following Seth Rollins on Instagram, and one day I just see him post about Black and Brave, and this was back in 2015, I think, and Black and Brave started in 2014, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
Um, yeah, so I looked it up, and I was like, "That's it." That was the mindset. I was like, "This is the school that I'm going to." And fast forward, I think 2019. As soon as I finished my university, I remember I didn't even get my final degree from the university. Everything was done. I didn't even have the time to get that. I just flew to the United States, Davenport, Iowa, and
That's
there I am
dedication,
training.
that is.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say that you had that amateur background in wrestling, how much did that prepare you for pro wrestling? Did it help with the bumps or anything like that, or was it
Oh,
still a
that's
reality shock to you?
so I thought it did. I thought it did. The In amateur wrestling, you have your way of bumping. You have your moves and stuff. But I still think that nothing prepared me for pro wrestling other than, being fit, having that conditioning. But taking bumps in the ring was, yeah, you don't feel it the first time. You're like, oh, okay, you know what, I can do it, right? But then once the training starts, you actually do feel it. And then you're like, this is nothing could have prepared me for this, you know? And you really start feeling it, and that's what surprised me, like, the first time, because most people have a they look at it, they're like, oh, pro wrestling could be easy, it's just bumps. It's entirely the opposite of everything. It's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and I yeah, I remember
Well,
Marek Brave.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll just say, me and Callum, we've both taken a bump, haven't we, ourselves? And yeah, that's why we're sat in this chair now instead of in the ring. So yeah, mad respect, man. But obviously, speaking of Marek and Seth, is when you get there and you're training, I mean, are they two polar opposites? I mean, does one have a different philosophy to the other of training?
Not really. I guess maybe sometimes they would say things differently, but for the most part, they're mostly like, yeah. I mean, if Marek would say something, if Seth is there, for which he is, by the way, that is amazing. I don't know how he does it. Um, Travel all the way there. I still have no idea how that happens. For me, that's like uh, beyond dedication. Um, but then yeah, he would get in the ring, and if I remember, there was a something, don't exactly remember what it was. I think it was just running the ropes or something. I constantly kept doing it wrong and wrong, and then uh Seth got into the ring, and he's like, what do you think, how it is supposed to be? Because I kept doing it wrong and wrong again and again. So it's more like uh Merrick is always there to help us, and even Seth is, he's just gonna get up and he's gonna get in the ring and show it to you
Mhm.
how it's done. I wouldn't say they're the opposites. Yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
I mean, it's you mentioned Seth somehow mentioning, how does he get from the shows to do training and then also work out at the gym and have the family life as well in between? I don't know how that guy makes time for his trainees, but that's the dedication you want in a trainer, right? Like, if you're
hun-
going to a training school, you know that not only is he dedicated to you, but everything he's telling you, it's coming from a place of like, there's no one really better in the world when it comes to wrestling than Seth Rollins. I think he's arguably one of the best in the world, and he's on
100%.
TV every single week. He's main evented WrestleMania. I can't think of anyone better to learn from. So when Seth Rollins tells you something, I'm guessing you just absorb it all. No matter what he says, you just take it on board.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. You try to learn as much as you can, absorb all of it. I just wish I was there for even longer of the time. They're like, once you actually get into the wrestling business, you start having a lot more questions about how everything goes on. Inside the ring, outside the ring, production, all those things. You later understand that it's not just you inside the ring. And this is just my opinion. That's just like 30% of what wrestling is. Kind of like how this talk about gym is like, oh, it's 70% diet and 30% training. I kind of feel like it's the same about wrestling as well. And I wish I was there right now. I would have so many more questions than I did back then. I was just a um, child little kid, trying to learn how to wrestle. Uh, but yeah, 100%. Like that dedication, I don't know. That's it's just something amazing.
But has that dedication passed on to you as well? The dedication that you've seen it with your own eyes, how Seth Rollins works, how Marek Brave works, has that dedication passed on to you as well? Are you going to try and do that exact same thing in wrestling?
still the
Yes.
isn't it?
Sorry.
I said it instills a work ethic into you when you see
It
that.
does. It does. I remember like when I was there, and Merrick, and I had this talk. We didn't have a talk. He was basically just telling me. He said, even if you're not tough, we're gonna make you tough.
Mm.
You know. Uh, so everything that the mindset, everything that I didn't have about wrestling, it came from that training.
Sure.
Yeah,
If I didn't go to that school, for me at least, if I didn't attend, if I didn't go to Black and Brave, I don't think I would have the same mindset that I have today. So 100%, it does really it does really pass on to
I
you
just
as
I just
well.
want to sidetrack ever so slightly. I do like
Yeah.
to ask this to a lot of guests, but when it comes to your influences in wrestling, who were your influences when you were watching the American wrestling, WWE, WCW, AEW? Who have been your influences, and has it influenced your style and, more importantly, your finishing moves?
So growing up, like we didn't have a lot of wrestling. The only thing that I could watch was WWE. Not much into. I mean, there's AEW now, and there are other promotions. They were back then, but it was more of WWE that we could see watch.
Mm.
And I think for me, since like I was a kid, it was John Cena all the time.
Mm.
Watching him, um, it was just a different experience. It was about the experience for me, and for me as a fan, he was the reason how I got into wrestling.
Mhm.
Did I take any moves from him? No, uh, I I didn't. Um,
There's only 5 to take.
Yeah. Good one.
Right.
yeah. But I did steal some from Seth. 100%, I did. Um, it's also so in Dubai where we didn't have much wrestling, and then we just started a wrestling. A group of us basically started a wrestling promotion,
Hmm.
which is doing pretty good, by the way.
Oh, tell us about the promotion, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the. So let me just finish up with the moves. So
Yeah.
it was just that during one of the like my first match in that wrestling promotion, I was like, "What's gonna be your finisher, right?" And I'm thinking about it. So at the towards the end of the match, I just uh hit the opponent with a pedigree, and the fans they just went nuts, and because they were like, "Oh, it's the pedigree." So from there, I kind of got an idea, like, "Oh, that's the nostalgia, right?" They don't know much about wrestling, but they remember the
Mhm.
old times when guys like Triple H would use the pedigree. So I was like, okay, I would just take and use that as my finisher
Clever.
because at the end of the day, it's about pleasing the fans, right?
Yeah.
Um, so coming back to the wrestling promotion, I think 5 years ago, I graduated from Black and Brave in 2020. Okay, then COVID happened.
Yeah.
After that, for the next 6 months, it was like just nothing was happening basically anywhere. I came back to Dubai. There wasn't a wrestling promotion. However, there was a wrestling academy called Wrestling Middle East that just opened up. I think it opened up in 2021.
Mhm.
So we had like 5 wrestlers while we were training and just putting on house shows in front of 10 people, 20 people every now and then. Um, one day we had a plan, just test it out, market the show. It's a bigger show. Start advertising, start releasing ads on Facebook, Insta, Meta ads, all that. And we called it WrestleFest DXB. DXB stands for Dubai, and
Mhm.
we called it WrestleFest DXB on that day. And surprisingly, we had about 150 people show up to the place. That was the basically birth of WrestleFest DXB, and 4 years later now, we've we have like about 200 people every now and then. We have monthly shows, and we've had different guys from the UK, guys like Trent Seven, and then
Mhm.
Axel T-shirt, and I think our first ever show was it the first or the second show we had Dan Maloney come over
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
wow.
to wrestle as well. Yeah, so it's doing pretty well now, and it all happened um, through an idea. It's just a bunch of 4 or 5 students basically wrestling, and we wanted to start wrestling in Dubai because if we think about traveling to the US or the UK, you've got a bunch of visa issues, and
Mhm.
it's not always the case. And in a place in a region where there's zero wrestling, there should be some wrestling.
Yes.
Um, with that, I learned a lot, and that's where I was telling you about 30% inside the ring and 70% outside.
Yep.
Production, you're in the company, everything. So those 4 to 5 years, I'm like, that's where I learned a lot more about wrestling. Um, in terms of everything. So right now we're doing pretty good, and I think WrestleFest DXB is not only a promotion in Dubai; it's sort of like a gateway for all the surrounding countries
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
come and wrestle.
It
Um,
I always find it cool when there's countries which have historically not had much wrestling, and then
Yeah.
a promotion starts up, and wrestling fans like just appear and flock to it, and it just proves that like wrestling's a global thing. Like in every country, there's wrestling fans or people that would
Yes.
like wrestling. It's not just an American thing or a British thing. Just because we've got big markets here, there's people who will enjoy wrestling all around the world. It's like a
Yeah.
global thing, and I think that's so cool. So
So it's funny that when we first started out, it was kind of different because we still had to tell people what wrestling was about.
yeah,
Mm.
So like we weren't really we did start a promotion, but we were also kind of like teaching the audience what wrestling was about. So even the way we structured our matches were not that complicated because we wanted them to kind of relate to what's happening in a market where people have almost no idea about wrestling. They don't know what's happening, and it's new to them. Um, we do have a lot of like most of the population of the UAE and Dubai is mostly people from the UK, US. They do know what pro wrestling is about. But then the rest of the population, you gotta tell them what it is.
yeah.
So that was also a challenge.
I was gonna say
Um,
that was a challenge to do, where you're having to like educate them what wrestling is, while also still putting on a good match and you know present pro wrestling to them so they come back. But that must have been
yeah.
quite a challenge to do.
It was because imagine like you have your own way of thinking about the psychology, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit my comeback, or I'm gonna hit this finish, and the crowd is gonna go nuts." And you do that, and the crowd is like, no reaction. You're like, "What did I do wrong?" You know. So it's 100. It still is a challenge, by the way. Um, it is a constant. It's something that you still need to do it again and again and again. I think in the wrestling business, it is how it is. Like you still need to change every time and tell people what's happening.
Sure.
Not only yourself but the audience as well.
So
Um,
there's a company in the UK called All Star Wrestling, and it's very similar
mm,
to how you described it. It's on holiday camps, like caravan camps, and
yeah,
like an arena there, and it's just for families, and none of them know anything about wrestling. It's just a place to take the kids. The parents don't know anything. The kids have never seen wrestling, and it's just like you said, they're not educated to it. But
yeah,
Daniel Bryan Danielson said that when he came over to the UK and he wrestled these shows, he learned more about wrestling doing this than anywhere else in his life, because he said if you can make these people react, you're doing something right.
yeah,
And he was trying to make people who didn't know about wrestling get out of the seat and cheer. And if you can do that, you're a good wrestler. And it sounds like that's kind of the mentality you've got.
yeah. Think of yourself as a brand
Yeah.
that you're kind of marketing. The it's like think of yourself as a product as well. Like, are you would you buy your own product?
Mm,
You know that kind of mentality. Um, if you can somehow, if you say yes, you will buy your own product. That means that you're kind of coming up with a good brand image, and then you will be successful in wrestling as well. Because then the audience, they're gonna relate to it. They're gonna cheer for you or boo you. Um, that is something that I did learn later on after the training. That's also a very important part of, probably even more important, um, on how you market yourself, even to the audience everywhere else. Yeah,
but speaking of marketing yourself, I mean, you got promoted on Seth Rollins' Instagram. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
yeah, that is.
I, I
And
was
that,
I was just scrolling through Seth Rollins' Instagram, and I saw a post and I was like, Jamie, we've got to get this guy on. If Seth Rollins is promoting this guy, this is someone we want to talk to.
the thing as well is,
Yeah,
I was watching some of your YouTube today on my lunch at work, and it's what stood out to me is what is your look. Like when you go into the ring, and I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, to me, you look like a badass. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I resonate to. I mean, how important is that to you as well to get that look right, that image right?
uh, I think I was sort of born with it, in a way. one of the coaches here actually in Dubai, in the academy that we were just training at, he was telling me, I was trying to decide for like when it was my first debut match, I was trying to decide, should I be a face, should I be a heel, you know? You have all those thoughts going into your head, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like a face these days. You know, there were like personal things going on in my life, and so I just decided to be a heel, and it turned out to be great. You know, when we finished the match, we came backstage, and the coach over here was like, "Bro, you're like a natural heel." I'm like, well, I don't know, but yeah. So kind of just like, I had the look. I
Yeah.
grew up my beard, grew my hair longer. You know, wear the leather jackets, and got the badass look, and then we started on in this direction. Um, so yeah, I mean, it wasn't that difficult, but yeah, it was
I mean,
something that I
if I was a first time fan and I saw you on the YouTube like I did today, I would straight away I would have been your number one fan.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and based on your moves as well, I think you've actually got a very similar style to maybe like a Seth Rollins or a Marek Brave anyway. That might just be from
yeah,
training, but the way you move in the ring, you can tell you're a Black and Brave trainee. it's uh it's a good style to have.
yeah. So I don't watch a lot of wrestling, but when I do watch it, it's mostly to study,
Yeah,
and then I watch most of the matches that I watch, and this is just how my mind works. It's not everyone; they would have different way of studying matches and everything, but I always watch. For me, I always watch my coaches.
yeah,
I, because I did train from them, and for me, it's important to like see how they're moving in the ring. You know, it's not just the move; it's every little detail. So, because if it looks good on camera, then they're definitely doing something right.
exactly. Yeah.
And you need to see what that is.
Well,
So, yeah,
before we start wrapping up and stuff, because I said I'd like to do a short interview for the first time, but you're a guy that I
yeah.
definitely want to get back on because I'm interested to see how your career goes. But speaking of your career, I mean, let's say 5 years down the line, where do we see Zephyr? And if we could say like you've got one perfect wrestling event in your future, which event is it, and who's the opponent? Is it WrestleMania against Seth Rollins? What would it be?
Possibly. Yeah. I think, well, Cena's about to retire, but I think growing up, I was a very big Cena fan, so definitely would be, doesn't have to be a wrestling event. It could be anything, but a meet up with John Cena would be amazing for me, and that would be like the highlight of my wrestling career as well.
DY, yeah. I think that would be
Yeah,
a bucket list for pretty much every wrestler, I'd hope,
yeah,
to get in the ring with
yeah.
the greatest of all
Before
time.
he retires, right? And in the next 5 years, I wish to travel different countries and promote myself and wrestle and hopefully make it big.
Come to the UK, man. We've got a great wrestling scene. I'm sure you'd fit
It's
right in.
on the bucket list.
hey, just throwing this out there. I mean, you can maybe make a phone call, mate. I mean, there's a Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia coming up in January. Just
Hey. Hi, Seth.
uh,
no, you never.
maybe you never know.
Well, dude, it's been amazing. I'm so glad you came on. Like Callum said, we definitely want to get you back. But before we do go, I mean, feel free to promote yourself, promote your company. We'll get
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you for having me. It's again, as I said, it's an honor. If they want to follow me, know more about me, they can follow me on Instagram. It's I am Zephyr. Um, it's a double M, by the way. It's not single M. And same on X, same on TikTok, everywhere else, and same on YouTube as well. Um, and also follow WrestleFest DXB. Um, to have more eyes on the Dubai scene. I think it's amazing that it's happening here, and the more people that can actually see that it exists, it'd be amazing. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, we'll make sure we get that out there, won't we, Callum? We'll promote it and push it. I watched them on YouTube again today, like I said, and I absolutely loved it. I'm going to be telling people to watch it. For now, Zephyr, thank you so much, my friend. We will see you again